Welcome to From Heartache to Healing and Hope with your host, Bernadette Winters Bell, LMSW. This podcast explores the many layers of life through the lens of loss and grief, often with special guests who share their perspectives on this universal yet unique process. These explorations can offer you, the listener, avenues to encourage you to have these conversations with yourself, your family, your community, your world.
Hello, I'm Bernadette Winters Bell, and I'm your host here of the podcast From Heartache to Healing and Hope. And in this series, same storm, different boats, wait till you hear this guest, Jenny Mannion. She's an energy healer, an intuitive. She reads records of your spirit and your soul. She's studying shamanism. So many interesting things. And here, for today, for this interview, I wore my necklace that this is the North Star, and here's all the rest of us being guided. And that's what this kind of work can do. I can't wait until you get to watch this on From Heartache to Healing and Hope. Same storm, different boats, paddling away with Jenny today. Take care now. Welcome from heartache to healing and hope. I'm Bernadette Winters Bell, and this is my podcast. And this series, same storm, different boats, I'm welcoming my very special guest, Jenny Mannion. Welcome, Jenny.
I'm so happy to be here with you, Bernadette. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So first off, since you know yourself best of anyone, would you please introduce yourself to my audience?
Sure. I am Jenny Mannion. I am an alternative healer, speaker, author, and my journey started when I healed myself from a bunch of chronic illnesses, 7 years worth in 3 weeks. And since then, I've just been on this mission to help others heal, whatever that is, from illness, from limitations, and really start to create the life that they deserve.
So succinct, but so powerful. And since I know you, I know it's way more than that, or it seems way more than that to me. So how is it that you help people heal?
I use a bunch of different modalities, trained in probably over 20, and have my own form of energy healing. I read and clear Akashic records. I've been training as a shaman. I do a lot of mind body methods. I really do believe that even if we heal energetically, I know a lot of energy healing modalities, it really helps to get the mind behind it, the limiting thoughts healed a little bit, that self-worth up, to know that we deserve a life that maybe we have hesitated to claim or have faced limitations in claiming.
So amazing, so needed. So Jenny, I've learned that after World War One, when people saw each other, they asked each other how was their war, because of course their sources and methods of communications were so different than today. They didn't just send a text. Um, and so I ask of you, how has your pandemic been?
It has been a challenge. I actually did lose my mom during it.
Mm,
So during that time, she became ill October 2019. So became her sole caregiver
mm,
and watched her decide to pass and then pass, and also settled her estate. Also, we have 4 kids between my partner and I. So watched 3 of them come. Well, 2 of them came home from college
mhm.
in the midst of that. So, and my sweetheart lost his job. So yeah, there were definitely a lot of challenges, but it was honestly synchronistic in that because my partner was home, I was able to move in with my mom for a while. The kids were home to say goodbye to their grandma, their closest grandparent. A lot of things actually, I guess did work out timing wise to our benefit, in the worst of times, there were definitely some blessings and some readjustments, and learning to be without my best friend definitely, have gone deep into that healing process. And yeah, I mean, I feel like I've transformed a lot because of it. I think we all have this year. We've all adjusted. Wasn't able to have the funeral that maybe I wanted to, with everyone hugging, but was able to have a beautiful memorial on Zoom where people from all over the country didn't have to risk their health, or,
Right.
they might not have been able to travel anyway. So it was really nice to have my mom's friends from all over the country say nice words about her. We had over 11 people speak. So that was really, really, there were blessings as well as really challenging times.
Absolutely. In the work that I do, I say there are the gifts of the dying, the gifts of the grieving, and now I'm calling them the gifts of the pandemic, which not everyone agrees. They don't want these gifts, but it's not Amazon, can't send it back. Right. But as you just so eloquently said, within the midst of things, you were able to be with your mom, not in how you would have ever planned it. Well, you would have had to have some imagination to think of this, but the universe made a space for you to know that your loved ones were taken care of and you were with mom, be able to
Absolutely.
spend that time with her. Oh, how special if we can adjust that things change, but not according to the way we would have wanted them to. That's usually what stops us or stumps us.
Absolutely. And I've learned on this journey, the more we try to force the universe, the more we will kind of be smacked on the hand, not so gently. So, yeah, really trying to be as present as possible. And even when my mom, it was very evident she was ready to go, letting go of that and being okay with that and showing up as best I could for her with that knowledge.
Well, I think you're being a little modest. I think you more than just showed up and were present as much as possible, because she was, I know, able to have support, love, and joy in her last months and have a peaceful passing because you were so present with her. And that's the gift that you made her.
Absolutely.
And we do that when we're able to do that in spite of our own pain.
Yes.
Right. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. I always hear such amazing things about your mom. Um, so as the time has gone by, how many have you been living in the house together?
It's kind of come and gone, you know. Uh, right now, we just have my youngest every other week. My son is coming to visit. Over Christmas, we had all four home for a week. But it's my son and Vinny's oldest,
Mhm.
years in college, and they both have apartments off campus, so they can still live in their towns
Okay.
and be there with their, celebrate their last semester as best possible. We're all adjusting, but
Well, different for everyone. Yeah.
it is different for everyone. But in March, they were all home, except for the one in law school. So it's been coming and going. They've been all coming and going throughout this
So
process.
that's like having to change and transition. Okay, who's home now? Okay, who's leaving? Right,
Exactly.
right, right.
Exactly.
Wow.
How many for dinner?
Yes,
Yeah.
right, right. How many different opinions do we have of this? Yes, right. Wow, so many. So in the beautiful work that you do, have you found professionally during the pandemic that you've seen people come forth with different problems, questions, concerns, issues?
I think I've felt like people have been more willing to really redo things, look at things very differently. Like this pandemic has really made us go within, spend a lot more time inside our house.
Right.
And, once you get sick of the Netflix shows and eating, there are other things to do, and you really are forced to go inward. So I think I've seen a lot more people be introspective and ready
Mhm.
for change, like really like, okay, what is this time granting me, and how can I reinvent myself? And Relationships have changed a lot. When you're stuck in the house with someone for a long period of time, you might start reevaluating those as well as friendships that you had.
Absolutely, because when we're right on top of one another without a break in the relationship, you know, you see, does the love transform into patience? And does that transform or segue into acceptance? Or I can't stand to see another person for another 10 minutes, right? And then what do I do with that?
Mhm.
Everything isn't always positive or negative, but of course it's what we do with it. That
Absolutely.
Right, right. Yeah, I've personally found that, of course, the levels of anxiety have,
Yes.
but I found the same thing you did, when the world was stopped as it was
Hmm.
and everything changed, whether you no longer could work or you're working all the time. Um, whether you're in school or being from home or can't visit people, it gives us the opportunity to say, well, I never thought the world could do this, but it did. And I can make changes. And
Hmm.
also the saying of, well, yeah, that's what I would like to do if I ever had the time. Well,
Right.
guess what?
Yeah.
We got the time for you, for me, and for her, right? Everyone, right, right. It's so different to think there can be time, and sometimes we make it for ourselves, and sometimes it's made for us.
Absolutely. Yeah, there were a lot of people able to dive into classes they had
Mhm.
always wanted to take. I mean, you could take anything online now. So,
Apparently, that is true.
yeah, so that was a wonderful opening for people and really to connect with people on a different level, maybe to move their circle outside the comfort circle that they were used to, but really branch out online and groups that have similar interests or really kind of find that soul family too, because sometimes we get so in our comfort zones,
Yeah,
even if it's not comfortable, we're
that's right.
just used to those people around us or those situations. So it did offer a lot of opportunity as well.
I think that with so many things, like you said, online, and you can go online and join a group, and if it's not good, you just don't have to go back again,
Yeah.
you know? And so there's some sort of safety in that for
Mhm.
people. And when they're joining things, maybe that doesn't include the people in their comfort zone community, place of business. Um, wow, I have something in common with someone in New Zealand or Belgium. Oh, that's surprising, interesting. Right. It opens someone's world
Yeah.
to the universality of all these different kinds of emotions, Absolutely. Wow. So the readings that you were talking about before, when you were first telling us about your work, what kind of readings are those?
I do Akashic record reading and clearings.
So for those people that might not know about this, please tell us.
So the Akashic records are our records of souls through lifetimes, this lifetime, connections we've made, karma, contracts. Don't like the word entities because that sounds ghost like, but energies. And when I look at someone's record, when I open someone's record, I get a good look at them at soul level. And it's really nice to offer a reading to someone so they can be like, that's why I do that. That's why that's so ingrained in me. Maybe forgive themselves a little bit or allow themselves to dive more into that and be comfortable with something they might have thought of as a shortcoming, but really can be a gift, as well as I do clearings. So I ask what blocks and restrictions are stopping this person from advancing on their spiritual path at this time. And it can be, a hook or a cord to somebody. It can be, all of these things that are just energetically, keeping them, holding them back a little bit. I don't believe in one modality for everyone ever. I believe that people come to me for a reason. And what I love about the Akashic readings is not only do I ask my guides and your guides to do the clearing, but I give my clients a 21-day prayer. So they're really owning, yes, I'm ready to get rid of these blocks and restrictions. I'm ready to move past this. And I really feel like that's where the magic happens.
How does one come to do that work?
It was a journey. I mean, I did get an Akashic reading after healing myself. I
Physically.
Physically, I was clueless as to how I did it, really. I mean, I was like, okay, I changed my thoughts and suddenly I'm better. And I learned about energy. So I started writing about energy, and I found a bunch of spiritual bloggers. Back then, 14 years ago, there weren't like 10,000 of them. There was a smaller community, and a bunch of people had gotten an Akashic reading. I had no idea what that was. And I was like, everyone that I trust is saying it's okay, and I don't even know if I believe in past lives, but let me go for it. And when I had one, it resonated so deeply, and it really did create shifts within myself. I've called it a not so gentle kick in the butt on your spiritual path. So it helped me so much. And I remember at the time saying, I could never do this work, and I think I was told, oh, you can do this. I'm like, no, I wouldn't trust my intuition that much. There is no way I could ever do that. And a couple years later, after doing energy work, I was starting to receive information, but didn't know where I was getting it from, and was like, I don't know if that's in the person's field, if it's their thoughts. I really want a way to tap into energy and know what I'm receiving. And I went to the teacher's website on Akashic readings, and it listed kind of everything I wanted to know was in gaining the Akashic record training. So I think like 7 trainings later, and hundreds, if not thousands of readings later, it's just something that I really love. I use it on myself. I use it on my family, use it for my clients. And I do feel like it just helps us remove those blocks and restrictions. It switches the energy around for us.
Absolutely. It's so interesting because the work that I do in life loss and grief therapy is start talking about, I say to people, we're going to go to 3 different areas. They come to me with a trauma or a loss, not necessarily a death, but for me, a loss is a loss. And I'll say, okay, first we're going to look at who you were up until that point, and we determine what point that would be. Maybe it's the illness, maybe it was the death. Okay, who were you there? Then we're going to look at who are you becoming now, which is an active process. And they really don't know who they are. That's really why it's in front of me. Well, then we're going to go to who you're going to become. Well, that's where they want to go. Forget this and this.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Right. Where am I going? How do we fix this kind of thing? And I acknowledge that. I know you want to go there. Sorry, we can't. And it's not because I'm saying no. Because if we could just go there, it'd be quicker. I'd help people, more people quicker, but it's not how it works. Right. So first we want to look at who you were, which is what you're doing on that big spiritual level, because I know, of course, that informs who they are now.
Absolutely.
Without going into past lives, which would be fascinating. And then see who they are. I think of it as, there used to be these old coffee pots they called percolators.
Yeah, I love those.
Some people only know them from camping, but they actually used to be used in the kitchen. And that's what I think of, that within them, what's bubbling up is new spirituality, or new forms of spirituality within them, new knowings. And then we take both of those chunks of information and go to here. And over there, I picture it as like a thing of clay or piece of marble. The material is not the issue. And we take this information and say, okay, you may not know what you want in the future exactly, but you know what you don't want. I've learned people know exactly what they don't want. So let's chip away. Oh, you don't want to have that coping skill anymore? Let's get rid of that. You want to keep this one, but you want to massage it a bit? Okay, and then you begin to form. And the material, which is them, of course, their soul, their brain, their heart, their spirit, this is telling them what it's going to be. It's like walking into a room, and I walk into a room and I can let the room tell me what color it wants to. Well, we used to share an office, so I was always saying, you know what I think it should be? That's what the room is telling me. And you're like, okay, sure, whatever. So that's the kind of work that we're doing in different settings, so that what is holding us back is known, not easily.
Right.
They may need help in finding it and seeing it for what it is. Like you said, it could be that hook or that connection could be a person.
Yeah.
That is holding them back, but we see they may feel it's well, they have to be in my life because, and whatever reasons they've given themselves over the years, that they have to keep this person in. Yeah, so fascinating. And I know you enjoy this piece of it, is that when people begin to, like, that look gets in their eye, and they're like, oh, it's like, right? Because you can see it percolating up.
Yeah.
And whether they're getting it completely or it's just beginning to, or they're just owning that it could change, all of it, any of it,
And I do feel like there's always almost this deep remembering, it's like their soul is saying, like, yeah, you are worthy, yeah, things can be better.
Exactly.
But yeah, that look is amazing. Yeah.
It's almost like they got a text that said, opening up your heart, all will be well, film at 11. Right. To put it in the context of what we get every day that kind of informs us, distracts us, and all that other kind of stuff, right?
Yeah. And so many people are holding these limiting thoughts that they've heard from a parent, from an old relationship, from a boss, from a friend, or a sibling. And it's almost like they need permission to let it go. And to just that awareness that it's okay. They're more than that.
Exactly. And to even know the power that the words or actions of others have had on them. We've both had the experience when somebody said, well, that was a long time ago, and that doesn't bother me anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, but when I said what was something that was a problem, it was the first thing you said. So maybe it's, yeah. So I think we think it shouldn't still hold us back. It shouldn't have so much power. And of course, except for you should wear a mask, I think should be out of the dictionary. I'm not real fond of that particular word.
No, it is not a good word. It guilts us.
Sure, and it comes with such judgment, It
does.
Absolutely. Wow. This has been so personally, how have you found things have changed besides your kids coming and going? Have you seen changes for yourself during the pandemic?
Yeah, I think part of it is because of my mom's passing as well. I've really been led to shamanism, to study different planes of existence and to help people. Why I love the Akashic work so much is when people do the prayer, they're ready. And why I love shamanic work so much is handing that power over to them, leading them on a journey where they reclaim their soul pieces, where they are taking control and owning that, yeah, I am in control of my life. And yeah, I do have this power. So it's brought me more in alignment with, I actually did take a shamanic class on healing grief through shamanism. We know grief is never fully healed, but there are,
healing. It's always in the process.
Yeah. Yes. Right. So it did really help me transmute some of that energy and really led me to wanting to help other people on that level. So it has been really a beautiful path. I'm still a few more months of my 6-month program after the 4-month one. So, but absolutely loving it. And yeah, just feeling like kind of reborn and transformed myself, and working now on rebranding and just how can I help people to the greatest capacity? How can I be of most service to the world at this time? Because I know that a lot of people are ready. to transform their lives into something maybe they never dared to dream of before. So
Absolutely.
that is what I want to do, help people know that they're worthy of doing that and help them remove the limits that have
Isn't it
maybe held them
interesting?
back.
So we've known each other a number of years now, and where we started, and we were always in the helping profession and
Mm-hmm.
working, um, and how interesting these many years later that I have a podcast and you're studying shamanism, and it's not a place I could have seen me for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm not as surprised about you, but that's how we see things different from
Yeah,
ourselves. But it is all part of that journey that we didn't
absolutely.
necessarily see that's there, but it is so natural. So it feels so right, even if we didn't think of it.
Yeah, yeah. And that, all right, just lead me.
Right.
Stopping holding ourselves back and the doubts that come up. And yeah, I'm ready, and we need to step forward because we need to be able to inspire our clients to step forward.
Absolutely. And that one piece of hope, well, it's really what we're both offering, is that there is hope. Um, no matter the trauma, no matter the loss, no matter what's going on in our country, in our world, in our family,
Mhm.
our communities. And we may not feel the hope, that doesn't mean it's not there. Like you said before, the sadness is not always there so deep as when your mom first passed, but it's still there.
Oh, yeah.
Just at different times it comes up,
Mhm.
Right. How? Well, this has been a fascinating conversation. I want to thank you so much. But before we go, I must ask you an important question. What gives you hope for the future? I don't think you'll have to dig too hard to find it, as many of people I
There
talk to, but
there are so many beautiful people doing amazing work to help other people
mm,
and shining their light. And I do feel the more people shine their light, it gives that permission and that hope for other people to shine their light as well. And I choose to focus there, and I always feel like just like science is evolving, people are
right.
evolving, and just to hold people in the highest regard, even those people that maybe we don't want to, anyone. I'm a big believer in the people that hurt people have been hurt. You
Well,
know,
absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Um, you know, I think that, no, I feel that it's so timely. Probably anytime we put it out, it's timely. But from my very unimportant opinion, it's timely to get these things out there. So please share with us all the different methods people could be in touch with you or read your books or all the different things that you have to offer.
sure, they can go to my website, jennymannion.com, JennyMannion.com. I offer free gifts on there to connect with me. My book, A Short Path to Change, 30 Ways to Transform Your Life, is available on Amazon. They could email me, jenny@jennymannion.com, and I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, pretty much all the social media platforms, as well as YouTube. I have free energy healings on there. So yeah,
Wow.
and I have a course, Embracing Bliss, which is a signature course on how to really tap into your own power to start creating your life.
What a great name. I've always loved it. Embracing Bliss. Just sounds so great. Like it
We
fills
can
me
all
with
use
warmth.
some more bliss.
Yeah, really. Exactly. Exactly. I love it. Ah, Jenny, thank you so much for joining us today on From Heartache to Healing and Hope. And on this series, Same Storm, Different Boats, you've given people more buoyancy in their boat to paddle along. And I can't wait for this to be shared with everyone. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Bernadette. So nice to reconnect.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this has been a wonderful interview. Thank you.
Thank you.